Okay.
We're back.
Episode, I don't even know anymore.
Chapter 19.
Yeah, that one.
Oh my gosh.
So we ended last episode, or last chapter. We were in the prison. Yeah, we just got done talking to the bone carver. We learned more about Feyre's trauma, what she's dealing with in her head. We learned a little bit more about Rhys and
the cauldron.
Yeah, and his secrets and what could be coming up next, and what's needed now. So
yeah. So then at the beginning of this chapter, we start talking about what they have planned to do next and how they're going to start testing Feyre's abilities to find out if she's even going to be able to use the Book of Breathing to control the cauldron.
Yep.
Page 207 is what they start talking about that, really.
I have some for page 206. So after they get back, they're talking about basically like Amron's right. This and this needs to be done, and this is what will happen, kind of stuff. What is it? Oh, so we were like reading. She's trying to warm up. She's cold, and then like she's listening to everybody talk, and she's kind of melting back into herself again because like having to relive everything that was said, on top of what Rhys is saying, on top of like what has to be done now. So Rhys goes, but this means Hybern's forces have already successfully infiltrated our lands without detection. I plan to return the favor. And Feyre's like, oh, mother above. And Cassian and Moore just grinned with feral delight, and Moore asks how. And honestly, I would probably be like, how are we going to do that?
Right? Like, tell me more.
I want to be involved.
Right?
Like, I would honestly be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I would have been dead in the first book because I would have fucking snorted in Amarantha's face. But if I somehow survived, like, I'd be in there like, yeah, let's do it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And then on 209, they're talking about needing to go to the mortal realm.
Nest and Elaine.
And we're going to have Nest and Elaine back. I'm so excited.
I wonder how long Rhys has thought about all of this. Like,
right?
He has essentially planned this since before. Honestly, I feel like he's planned this since Amarantha died.
Right.
Because
maybe even a little before, like when he first learned about Feyre.
And he's like, okay, great. Like, if this is like once he made the pact with her, like however long.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. He's definitely a Slytherin because he is thinking well into his plans before executing them. That cunningness.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm just curious how long he's really thought about this.
I like how on page 211 he's honest with her about how, like, because she's like, because we're talking about how he's got all this planned, and on 211, kind of going along with that, she's like, the reading, that's why you insisted on the lessons. If your suspicions were true and I could harness the book, I could actually read it or any translation of whatever is inside, because like he had it planned that long and he didn't tell her that. And he's honest about why he didn't tell her that, because she wasn't willing to work with him at the beginning.
Right.
And like, I like how honest and upfront he is with her.
Well, and the thing is like, he didn't want her to run back to Tamlin. Like he was trying to fill out her, I guess, allegiance.
Right. He didn't want her to go back and tell Tamlin everything. And
yeah, other than what was most important, like Hybern's coming.
Right.
But then he's like, you should have learned how to read no matter what. But yes.
Right.
I told you it served my own purposes. It was because of this.
The next thing that I have is page 213 at the very end of the chapter.
I don't have anything else.
Oh my gosh. Page 213 at the end of the chapter. He's telling her about the Weaver and how he's going to send her there as a thief on his behalf.
Are you going to comment about the You're My Salvation?
Oh my God.
Someone melted.
I did. So, like, she was like, so I'm your huntress and thief? His hand slid down to cup the backs of my knees as he said with a roguish grin, you're my salvation, Feyre. I was like, I was so like into the book, and I was like, I could feel it. I could feel his hands going down the back of my legs and like just looking up at her, and I was just like, yes. I was gonna comment about that because I was just,
And the fact that he was kneeling in front of her.
yes, like the whole thing was just like, ugh. Anyway, yeah, I swooned a little bit for Reese in that moment.
I like it how he like brought it back. Tamlin though on the page before, he's like, "Would you rather I locked you in the House of Wind and stuffed you with food and made you wear fine clothes and play at my parties?"
Yeah, right, right.
Go to hell. So how do you fucking like it, Feyre?
Right? Like, I just love their banter too. Like, I like them.
Listen, enemies to lover.
Right. And then they finally start flirting in the next chapter a little bit.
I know. This is my favorite. I fucking love it. Chapter 20.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So now they're in the middle of the wood. So where the mountain was, where under the mountain, which can I just say that's kind of a weird name. Mm-hmm. You're going under the mountain. I get that, but why is it called under the mountain? Like, what is that the name?
I don't know.
Anyways,
because that's what SJM decided.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm confuzzled.
And I love how, okay, so this part here is one of the parts that I was just like chuckling about because Feyre asks Amarantha didn't wipe these creatures out.
No, she ain't stupid.
And that's what Amarantha was no foolery, said, his face dark. She did not touch these creatures or disturb the wood. For years, I tried to find ways to manipulate her to make that foolish mistake, but she never bought it.
Damn.
And then Feyre says, and now we're disturbing her for a mere test. Like, oh, okay.
Great. I get to be the guinea pig.
Right, because he says that the Weaver of the Wood is at the top of their food chain. So the person that he's sending her into this cottage to steal from.
The Weaver is fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
She's absolutely terrifying.
The description of her is like, oh my God.
Right? So, what is it? 2:15. He's over here talking about, oh, I finally found it. Okay. So, this entire page is basically just a banter between him and, Feyre. So Feyre was like, after disturbing her for a mere test, and he's like, you know, Cassian tried to convince me last night not to take you. I thought he might even punch me. And she's like, well, why? He barely knows me. Who knows? With Cassian, probably more interested in fucking you than protecting you. And she's just like, you're a pig. And he's just like, you could, you know, if you needed to move in in a physical sense, I'm sure Cassian would be more than happy to oblige. And then she's like, I feel like this is a test. Okay, fine. Well, then tell him I'm open to tell him to come to my room tonight if you survive the test. And then she comes back with, you seem pleased by the idea that I won't. Oh, quite the opposite, Feyre. I'll let Cassian know you're open to his advances. And she's like, good. And then as soon as she's about to jump off, he grabs her face and goes, did you enjoy the sight of me kneeling before you?
Again, I was just like,
bro, you can't like say, hey, you could fuck my best friend, but did you enjoy this look? Is it going to be an MMF now or?
Oh no.
That would be a good book. Cassian Reese and ooh.
That's like his brother.
I don't care. There's people that do worse shit.
I mean, it's not really his brother, I guess.
Yeah, they're family. Just don't touch them.
Ew.
But
anyway, I don't even know what you would do with two at one. I don't. Nope.
Here's the thing, though. I'm curious to know if Reese like enjoyed saying his little Cassian speech or not, because it's like, I get it. He's trying to distract her from what she's about to do, but it's like, you're literally saying, hey, buddy, go fuck my mate.
I feel like he was trying to feel her out a little bit, like see like how she would react to that.
He should know that she's going to be like, fine. Come on, Cassian. Here's my bed.
I feel like that's why he did it. Because, like, if she really, truly didn't want to, then she, like, Or if she really truly was like open to it, she would have said no. Because that's how she is.
True. No, that's true. I mean, she was open to Tamlin biting her neck and she slapped him.
Yeah.
Opposites.
So I just
anyways,
anyway.
But then I just think it's funny that he whipped it right back to like, did you enjoy seeing me kneel before you?
Yes,
like,
I
really,
love
bro.
that.
It's like, man, that's like back to the "You're my salvation," and like it hit just as well as that one.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
It's like, oh, okay.
Okay, and then so they're in the woods talking about all that, right?
Yeah, they're on their way to
and
the
then she
cottage,
goes into this tiny little cottage,
which looks very open and welcoming, which is the most terrifying because that's a good life lesson.
And
even
she
if
keeps
the houses,
saying that, like, the whole thing was a very inviting trap.
I was a foolish mouse about to fall into it.
And can we talk about the song that the
that's like singing? A terrifying song.
It's just it's ugh.
There are two sisters. They went playing to see their father's ships come sailing, and when they came onto the sea brim, the elder did push the younger in. Throughout her singing the song, she's like, Feyre's going through this house, and basically she's singing like, sometimes she sank and sometimes she swam till her corpse came to the miller's dam. But what did he do with her breastbone? He made him a viol to play on. What did he do with her finger so small? He made pegs to his viol withal. And what did he do with her nose ridge? Onto his viol he made a bridge. What did he do with her veins so blue? He made strings to his viol there too. And then it goes to what did he do with her eyes so bright? On his viol he set at first light. What did he do with her tongue so rough? 'Twas the new till, and it spoke enough. Then bespake the treble string. Oh, yonder is my father the king. Then bespake the second string. Oh, yonder sits my mother the queen. Then bespake the string. All three. Yonder is my sister that drowned me. And I'm like,
it's just a horrifying song.
I want to know if that's a real song though.
Right?
If like SJM made it up on a whim, or if like
it's like actually like a
folklore kind of song. I don't know. Anyways,
it was horrifying.
And then like knowing that this terrifying person is is in this room with you as you're trying to find something that you don't even know you can find.
Also, we didn't discuss it, but for people that are listening and probably super confused, the Weaver doesn't know Feyre is there because she is blind.
Yeah.
So unless she
it's like a Midgard worm.
Yeah, unless she like hears her or something like that, she's not going to know that she's there. So Feyre's looking for this thing, whatever it might be. And she finally feels like the tug or whatever of what the item is. And it ends up being a ring, which sounds gorgeous. A ring of twisted strands of gold and silver, flecked with pearl and set with a stone of deepest solid blue, sapphire but different. Like, it sounds gorgeous.
Side note, that song is real.
Oh my gosh.
It's a real song. It's called The Twa Sisters, or The Two Sisters, and it's a traditional murder ballad dating at least as far back as the mid-17th century. The song recounts the tale of a girl drowned by her jealous sister.
Oh, wow.
So it is a legitimate song.
Well, that's
kudos SJM to find that.
Right. That's terrifying.
Yes, this ring sounds gorgeous.
Yes, it sounds gorgeous. More about that later.
Anyways,
that's all I have for chapter 20.
I made the joke. I was like, maybe the Weaver took all my missing items. Because like, you ever just like go through your house, you're like, man, where the fuck did I put this?
Yes.
And you cannot find it, and you just cannot remember for the life of you if you threw it away, if you put it someplace, or you're like, what happened to it, and it just seemed to vanish.
Oh my gosh.
It's the fairies playing tricks on me.
Brittany, you're gonna laugh, but maybe the Weaver has our cocoa powder.
Cocoa powder?
So when we used to live in our old apartment.
Powder?
No, we were going to make no-bake oatmeal cookies, right? And they take cocoa powder. And I swore up and down that we had it. Like, it was in the cabinet. I knew it was there. No questions. We went to the store and got everything else we needed and came back home. And the cocoa powder was not fucking there. And I swear to God it was there. Like, I tore everything out of that cabinet. I tore everything out of every cabinet looking for it. That cocoa powder haunts me to this day. And Brittany is going to be dying laughing listening to this. Because it haunts me to this day. And she still makes fun of me for it. So maybe the Weaver has our cocoa powder, babe.
cocoa powder. I was thinking like something like a trinket or
Nope,
like
cocoa powder.
clothes, but it's cocoa powder.
Cocoa powder. It's missing.
Oh man, yeah. Anyways, so this is a fucking terrifying moment.
Because at the end of that chapter, when she picks up the ring off the shelf,
The Weaver stops singing.
da da da.
On to the next one. Chapter 21.
I'm like,
Ooh.
how did she know?
Honestly, though.
Like,
well, and here's the thing, though. She's only part Reese. Like, a part of her is Reese. So
true.
it could, like, so she could be alerted because she's got 7 other High Lords on top of Feyre.
So it's
herself.
like, it's not just Reese taking it, but all the other.
Right. That's the only plot, like, explanation sense. I can think of. Either that or it's like, fuck, is Reese is here?
Right? Like, what?
Oh, Night Lord, what are you doing here?
Right? So this whole time, we haven't seen the Weaver's face yet. We've just seen...
Oh, yeah, she just looks young and slender.
With long black hair, and she's slender, and, like, it makes
young.
It sound like she's pretty, and, like, young, like a pretty young woman. But here in a minute, we're going to figure out that she is not. Her face is, like, old and sunken in, and her eyes are missing, and...
Yeah, rotting.
Ew.
So chapter 21 starts by her saying, like, okay, I froze, I put the ring in my pocket, and I needed to get out. I was 10 steps away, maybe, from getting to the door, and she's slowly walking over there, and it's like, she's counting down how many steps she has as the Weaver is slowly stopping her wheel. And it's like the anticipation of death is coming, is like really getting to her. And then all of a sudden, the door slams shut and there's no way for her to open it back up. It's like closed, can't get in, can't get out. And then she goes to the window, can't open that up, it's locked, something is keeping it locked. And so all of a sudden the Weaver goes, who is in my house?
Oh my gosh.
And so now she's like, shit, it does not matter if I'm a wolf or a mouse, like I'm fucked.
Right? And then Feyre is like she's more intelligent than she gives herself credit for.
Yeah.
Because I would never have thought of this, but she throws something.
Oh, she throws fire at the wall.
At the wall, right? To because the Weaver is weaving all of this thread and fabric.
So she's burning.
Yeah, so she throws the fire at that.
Distraction.
Yeah.
Here's the thing too, even though she's blind, she immediately was like, what is like all, but unlike all? And it's like, oh, she knows me.
Right?
She knows I was made.
And like, not only was the throwing of the fire smart, like that was smart, but then she goes up the chimney. Like she tries
I would not have thought about the chimney.
I would not have thought of the chimney.
As a chunky fat bitch.
Yeah, well, I would.
Chimneys are not like.
I'm not going to fit.
I'm going to like hurl myself through the fucking window and hope for the best at that point. But like chimneys, I'm not.
Yeah,
cannot do that.
Not going to fit.
So kudos to her for being, super sunken in and, tiny. Because fat bitches can't do that.
And then the stone of the chimney squeezes around her and she's stuck.
Oh yeah, she's tiny and like stuck in there.
And the Weaver hissed from within her house.
And then like
that little mouse is climbing in my chimney.
And then all of a sudden you just see like
the face of the chimney.
She looks down in between her legs or whatever, and she just sees this scary ass face like pop
like
up.
Like a horror movie.
Listen, that was something I commented on. I can imagine this as a VR horror game.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, it's a bigger area obviously than just like a cottage, but like I live for these things. I am not very good at them because I have real bad anxiety and I panic. I sit there, ah! Like there's a game called Little Nightmares and it's on in Little Nightmares 2 and it's not very scary. But there's like certain areas where you're trying not to make a noise. If you make a noise, then like something pops up. And then as soon as they slither back into their own spot, you got to like do it again. But you have very minimal time to go and hide. And it's really like specifically Little Nightmares 2. There is a section where you're up above this school teacher. She's a school teacher, and you have to knock over something to get crossed, but you have to hide before she comes. All of a sudden, you just see this really long ass neck come up, and she's like going around this location, and it's like she's right in front of where you're hiding, and all of a sudden you're just like, she's gonna fucking get me. Oh my god, and then you have to like come out, and it's just absolutely terrifying this entire game. And then there's like little sections of things coming at you, and that's what I imagine this game would be. It's like, it's not terrifying to look at. It's just the anticipation and the anxiety building up to this part that this would
need
make
you to know that I am
game.
imagining Monsters University where they're in the library and the librarian is like, they have
No, don't make it funny. That's supposed to be funny.
That's what I was imagining. So that's why I kept grinning at you, because I was like,
shh. But that's so true though,
right?
But it's like this. It's really a huge ass. Like you're like elf size, like tiny Keebler elves like size compared to like this gigantic woman with a big ass balloon head that stretches. It is fucking terrifying. Anyways, this would make a great VR game, babe. If you want to get on this, you want to make a game, I got you. I got this perfect rendition. Anyways.
Okay.
Oh, terrifying.
Then she gets out on the roof. Like, she uses her strength, right? And like busts a brick out and throws the brick into the weaver's face and like hurts the weaver. And then she climbs out on the roof, and the roof is made of hair. Dead hair, like the hair on the wall in the shower, grosses me the fuck out. It makes me want to hurl. I can't even.
Just think about it.
Ugh. It grosses me out. So
and boiled fat too from the chimney, so it's like sticking to her.
Oh yeah, the whole thing. I was reading it, and I know the look on my face was like,
oh, and then you could just hear in the distance, "Where are you?"
Ugh, no,
get out.
Yuck.
There's a moment though on 227 where she's like, "Where are you?" I'm positive she did not sound like that, but just in all caps, "Where are you?" That's all I could think of. Is just like, that's like, all right, I'm done being nice. Because then, "Where are you?" Then she just brings it back like, "Oh, that was aggressive. Let me bring it back." Anyways,
and at this point, Feyre is running through the treetops.
Yeah, she's afraid to get on the ground. I don't fucking blame her.
I don't either.
I don't know how fast this bitch is.
So she does that, and then she finds Rhysand in a tree, just chilling. And he said, "What the hell did you do?" And she like attacks him.
She's like, "You."
Yeah. And then
he's like, "Nope, shut the fuck up. We gotta get out of here."
Yeah, then they get out of there. But like, what a dick. I just can't even. I just can't even.
And then they like winnow back to Valaris into the house, and all of a sudden Aaron just looks at her and was like, "You smell like a barbecue."
But knowing that it's like,
that's not, she doesn't eat normal food,
right?
And like, it's like, ooh, she's like, this sounds tasty.
Yuck.
But yeah.
So then we find out that he gave Rhysand's mother gave the ring to the weaver, so quotations, he wouldn't waste it.
So whoever was worthy enough to get the ring, although was like his mom aware of what Feyre was, or like will be to him, like what will happen to her, because it's like, how would he know, or how would that person know exactly where this ring would be, who this ring would belong to? Mm-hmm. I mean, unless he wanted to risk it.
I don't know, but I was very impressed.
Made a lot of questions.
That was, a lot of questions.
See, she is absolutely brilliant, lovely person. Don't know her, very lovely though.
And like, he just gets her, because like he knew that she had to master her panic on her own, that she's such an independent person. So like, he had to send her in there to prove to herself that she could.
Almost got her killed.
Yeah. But she pulled herself together because she had like a panic attack in the chimney, and
I'd be no use to him if it mattered when it happened,
right?
Or if it happened when it mattered.
And then there's this gross story
Yeah.
on page 233.
I wrote some for 234. So at this point, Ianthe comes back,
Yes.
and we learn why Reese hates Ianthe so much. It turns out Ianthe, being a hoe that she wanted to be, really tried her hardest with Reese. And
Power hungry hoe.
Yeah, it just was not saying no, or like was not
taking no for an answer.
Yeah, like consent is queen, and you're being a bitch.
And the only reason that she didn't basically rape him was because he controlled her mind.
Yeah, she like was sitting there. She goes, you know, do you know what a union between us could do for the world? Like our offspring could rule Prithian.
Mind you, she's butt naked in his bed when she's saying all this.
And he's like, so you want my crown and for me to play stud? Okay, like no,
get out.
And then he's like, she could be a problem now or later. So what do I do?
Trying to decide if he's gonna kill her or not.
Right. And he's like, all right, get out of my bed, get out of my room, and get out of my court. So at this point, though, she's trying to like essentially finger herself, basically, to like, I guess, make him want her more. Something, I don't know. Let me just play with myself, and maybe you'll get turned on. Like I think that was the whole thing she was going for. It's probably worked in the past.
Probably, I think that was the idea behind her actions.
So he gripped her body in her mind and like basically stopped her from doing that and like blocked it to the bed. So she got up and walked over in all her naked glory.
Okay, yes, right there. That sentence bothers me. Each step toward him had her generous breath bobbing. Like, that sentence bothers me.
It's like, okay, well, if you have boobs, then it does not matter. It's going to bob anyway.
Right. Like,
especially when you don't have anything on. Like, of course.
Yeah, that sentence bothers me. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, and then she's like, you have no idea what I can make you feel, High Lord. And this bitch had the audacity to go for his nutsack.
Just to reach down to try to grab it.
And he grabs her fingers and like before she could grab him, and then he basically like crunched it down and like broke her hand.
With his powers too, not with his hand, not with his brute strength.
His fucking twisted it because he's fucking powerful. He's probably the most powerful High Lord Prithian's seen in a while. So then he like threatens her, like, don't ever touch me or don't ever touch another male in my court. Your hand will heal. The next time you touch me or anyone in my lands, you will find that the rest of you will not fare so well. And then she got pissed off and said, you will regret this, which makes me wonder if that's the reason why she went to Tamlin.
I was just thinking that.
But man, I fucking hate her. I really hate her so much.
Yeah, and then Feyre starts talking about how Lucien hated her and how he made vague, vicious allusions to not liking her, to being approached by her. And
she never understood why either.
Right. And now she's like feeling like she's going to throw up because she was like, was Lucien forced to say yes to her because of her position? Yeah. Like, gross. That's all I have for chapter 21.
There was another one on 234 where it was like, I literally said, well, that's one way to kick someone out of your room, but I don't know where on page 234.
It's at the top, right? Where he like throws her out of.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe not. Maybe it was on the bottom of 230. But like he like physically throws her from his room and then throws her clothes out after her.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah, throws her out and then grabs her clothes and tosses it.
Yeah,
it's like a typical like, and stay out. Like throw the person out and then come back for the round two.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Anyways, yeah, that was fun. That was all I had.
Okay.
I really fucking hate her.
Right? Ugh. Okay. And then we are at about half hour, so it's about time for a break. We have a fun break idea today.
I sent it to Will to play around with, and he fucking got it.
Okay, we're gonna explain a character badly, not a character from these books, just a well-known character. The first one is a young growing man discovers he can shoot white stuff out of his body. You have to comment on one of our social medias or send us an email and tell us what character you think that is. So that was number 1. Number 2.
This is my favorite one.
Emily laughed for like 10 minutes when we found this one.
This is the one I sent to Will, and he was just like, seriously, you're trying to get me to say this character? And I was like, damn it. Yes.
So this one's probably a little easier. Again, not a character from this book series, just a famous character. And the explanation is just another farm boy that kissed his sister. So again, find us on Instagram, Facebook, or email us at a court of witches at gmail.com and tell us your guesses. We should reveal them at the next episode.
Yeah, we'll reveal next episode. But we want to give you guys a chance to listen to the episode.
Yeah.
And because we're recording these a little early.
A little in advance.
Because this one's not going to come out
for like 2 weeks.
And it's April 4th. So we're kind of planning ahead. So we're trying to give you guys a little bit of a chance to, respond. Anyways.
Yeah. So fun.
We got 3 chapters left.
3 chapters left that we read this week. Okay, chapter 22.
Gosh, listen.
Okay, so at the beginning, I wasn't sure if they were just going to the mortal lands or if they were going to her family right now. But
I think it was definitely.
Yeah, they're going to her family.
Yeah.
But not Moore. Moore does not want to go.
Oh, yeah. And then we learned about this. We learned more about Moore and her family. So in the Court of Nightmares, which is essentially what the whole world, well, all of Prithian knows about the Night Court. They don't actually, that's the court
that they think of.
Yeah. And it's very terrible, very roguish, piratey kind of is what I'm thinking. Because it's like drinking, booze, sex, like,
yeah,
I'm going to do what I want kind of thing. So she says, in the Court of Nightmares, females are prized, our virginity is guarded, and then sold off to the highest bidder. Whatever may will be the most will be of the most advantage to our families.
So basically, like, Regency era London.
Yeah. Yeah. So she's like, when I was 12, before I bled, I prayed it meant no male would take me as a wife, that I would escape what my older cousins had endured, loveless, sometimes brutal marriages. So hinted at some type of abuse. And then she even like did her best to stop her from bleeding and did all of this. And then when she finally started bleeding, her power came through and she became super powerful. So everybody in the hewn city was like, yes, I want that in my family over and over again. And then the parents were okay with that. They were besides themselves with glee. They could have picked any alliance of that they wanted. It did not matter if she like pled or like was pleading with them, but it went unheard. It didn't matter. And she said that there's still more to the story, but she will tell it a different time. So she is like, I don't want to go because I want to see hopefully my dead friends in the Queens, is what she was saying.
Yeah.
I don't know what led up to that whole story, but essentially she basically said, I'm not going. This is why.
Yeah. Well, and
it didn't make sense why she like brought that out. Or maybe I just didn't read it.
I know it didn't make sense to me either when I read it. I remember it not making sense. So.
Oh, that's what it is. She's like, well, what do you wear to the whatever?
Oh, yeah.
And then she's like, well, nowadays most women wed, bear children, and then plan their children's marriages. Some of the poor might work in the fields, and a rare few are mercenaries or hired soldiers. But the wealthier they are, the more restricted their feelings and roles become. You'd think that money would buy you the ability to do whatever you pleased. She goes, some of the high fare are the same. And then, like, she went on to say that, okay, yeah, we're back. We got it. Okay. Well, listen. Moore is such a goddess.
Right.
And I really just want her to have her own story and her own happy ending. Like, SJM, if you're ever hear this or somebody who listens to this, Please make a book about Morgan. Please. No sugar on top.
So, also, I really was like impressed and kind of proud of Feyre on this page 239 because she says, I'd like my sisters to meet you, maybe not today, but if you ever feel like it. And Moore kind of like turns her head sideways, looks at her like, what? Like, and she's like, I want them to hear your story, and I know that know that there is a special strength. As I spoke, I realized I needed to hear it and know it too. A special strength in enduring such dark trials and hardships and still remaining warm and kind, still willing to trust and reach out. And then like Moore's like blinking like she's almost to cry, but like I was so impressed by Feyre in that moment, like saying
Like
that
actually owning up to it.
Yeah, and like yeah.
And then it's like it's just the fact that she apologized for not being whatever, and she's like, I'm trying to adjust, like owning up to it. And then Moira's just like, whatever. There are good days and hard days for me even now. Just don't let the hard days win.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, yes. That's
also,
what I need.
I love how she's not more, but Feyre is getting all dressed up for her sisters.
I know. Like, bitch,
like
we've
she
seen
puts
you in
on
rags.
all this jewelry and all this shit.
I actually commented on that. I was like, well, first off, I said, whoa, welcome home, Feyre. Because so we, at this point, after she's done getting ready, we are like we're getting ready to take off. And she gets to choose which one's going to carry her. And she looks between Reese, Cassie, and Azriel, and she's just like, I'll fly with him.
Yeah.
Fly with Azriel. And then Cassie and Reese were like, huh? Excuse me?
Right? Because like she specifically chooses not to fly with Reese because she has the memory of him kneeling before her and holding the back of her legs. The whole "you are my salvation."
But she didn't think why she didn't want Cassie, and it's probably because it's like, oh, what if he does want to fuck me?
Right. Well, and not only that, but she told, like, what if Reese really did tell him that she was open to his advances?
And
like,
this is just step one into getting into those advances.
Right. Like,
It's funny though, because Reese and Cassian looked as if I declared I wanted to parade through Valaris and nothing but my skin. It's like, okay.
But I feel like that's because so many people are probably intimidated by Azriel, but I feel like Feyre can see through that a little bit.
I
She
also
sees him with his guard down around more.
Right. Well, I also think that here's the thing. I don't think the real thing with Cassian, not the real thing, but I don't think the thing about Cassian warming the bed, kind of whatever, was a legitimate thing, because I believe Reese had told everybody about the bond.
Oh, okay.
So everyone is aware about the bond. So I think,
but except for Feyre,
it hasn't clicked yet.
Yeah.
So I think not with Reese, but with Cassian, he's just like, what? Like, that's your mate over there. Like, you don't know that yet? Like, what the fuck?
Right.
Why are you choosing him? Like, what? Like, confused. So I think that's why Cassian was like,
huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure he probably would have done the same thing if she was like, I'll fly with Cassian.
Right. You know what?
But, so just flying around and going, and then all of a sudden they land, and she's like, the human land's my home. It's
I did not want to stop reading. I wrote that even. I don't want to stop reading now. Like, I wanted to keep reading. And I did stop there because I thought that's where we were stopping. And then I kept reading after that. But
you always keep reading just because you never know when you're going to need it.
Right.
So yeah, well, welcome home, Feyre.
Right. So page 244. We're just jumping right into chapter 23.
Yeah, I got 243. So they talk about how the house that had like holly on it or whatever, so like Christmas, and they were like, most of the stuff has been banned because of I don't know, whatever, the what'd she say, not when they banned and condemned every holiday after the war, all of a reminder of their immortal overseers. So all the holidays were essentially Fae holidays, except for a few. But it's like, I get it, they banned all the holidays, but even so, like, didn't they have some holidays that were like their own? It's like,
you would think
all culture, like, I mean, maybe it was banned from, I mean, maybe not necessarily the humans banned it, but like maybe the Fae banned it because it wasn't their holiday. I mean, you know how white people are with other cultures and their holidays. What are you talking about? Christmas is about Jesus. No, it's not.
I actually was having a conversation with a student today about Ramadan, which is happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
And she was explaining what Ramadan is in her culture to me, and it was super interesting. And that has nothing to do with this, but it was just really interesting conversation, and I was really impressed with the ideas behind it.
Oh, yeah.
And how it's like a time of, the way she explained it was that it's like a time of realizing what you have and not taking things for granted, because like she apparently,
there's a student that I work with that needs that.
She apparently, like, they eat a lot in the morning and then they don't eat or even drink water all day until like sunset time ish, and then they'll eat like a big meal. But like, it was just really cool, like what she was talking about. Anyway, I digress. That was way off topic.
No, that's cool. I
mean, and by the time we're listening to this, Ramadan might be over because we are recording 2 weeks ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, same thing. I mean, white people assume that their religion, or not religion, but like their holidays are
better,
end all be all. Like Easter, I hate Easter. Easter is the fucking worst, and I think it's because I grew up in a Catholic family to where everyone's like, oh, Jesus has risen, let's go hunt eggs. And then when I got older, I'm like, where does the eggs come from? Nobody ever in Catholic school ever taught me where eggs come from. I was like,
it's a pagan tradition.
Right. And I didn't know that. And so I was sitting there and like, we searched for eggs at the school. And I was like,
and actually the thing about Easter that cracks me up, I always laugh when people want to talk about Easter, because the pagan holiday of the spring equinox is all about the rebirth of the plants and the earth, and like how the earth is coming back to life. Right. And then the Christians come along and they're like, oh, it's the rebirth of Christ. And I'm like,
no one gives a shit.
Is it though?
Well, and I sat there and it's like, I have a very Catholic grandma, and I was like, Grandma, why do we search for eggs? And she goes, well, that's what you do on Easter. And I was like,
but why?
There's no religious thing to it. And she's like, but that's just what we do. And I'm like, but there's no religious anything behind our
why
reasoning.
Is there a fucking bunny? Like,
a bunny laying eggs. Like, what the fuck? Why? Like that, like my family thought it was normal. And I'm sitting there like, y'all are on fucking crack. Why are we
this doesn't make any sense?
Yeah, like I was okay with getting chocolate every, Easter for like my Easter basket, but
like my grandma used to put like money in like some
like
shit.
Like, it was like birthday all over me.
Right. Like I liked Easter when I was a kid,
but it just didn't make sense. And so when I got older and I started researching it, and I was like, the fuck? Like they spew Christian ideologies at me left and right, and then they get mad at me when I'm being like a pagan asshole, and it's like, y'all are fucking celebrating a pagan holiday.
All of them are.
Yeah, Christmas
also. Yes, it's a pagan holiday. And actually, they say it's the birth of Christ, but if you actually look at the history, Jesus was actually born in July.
Yeah.
Christmas also, he's brown. In case you didn't know that.
My favorite on TikTok is like when all these family members are like, I took a picture of Jesus and I put Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi. In it, just to see how long they do it.
Yeah.
And it's like you see these families actually like praying or saying stuff as Jesus, and I was like, what?
Yes, it's crazy.
I do so my play practice is at a church, and we had to be in one of the nurseries one night, and I was staring at all the little figurines while like everybody was doing their scenes, and I was like, that character is a little dark, too dark for Christians. And then I looked over, I was like, oh, that one's actually white. All right, right back to it. I was like, I don't know. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, that was like way, way off topic, but
my family and religion just really get me going. I should use that as like a ploy to when I need to get angry for like a scene or something like that. I should just be like, can I tell you about my family and religion?
Have you heard the good news?
I hate this. Anyways, so I'm just like, everybody's got their own religion, like, or got their own shit. So I assumed some human holidays might have survived. I know it was been 500 years, but I mean, whatever. Right. Anyways,
so the thing that cracked me up on page 244, the other fairies, Cassian, Azriel, and Reese, are glamored, so no one can see them. Like they're invisible, basically. But they don't think to glamour anything about Feyre, at least until she gets in the house.
Right? Like the ears.
Like she's taller. She's slender. Her
Like,
hands are longer. She's got ears. I mean, she's got a cloak on, but
still.
even the housemaid.
Just like the ethereal, however you pronounce that. Ethereal?
Yeah.
Is that ethereal? Was I right?
I think so.
I don't know. I read it all the time.
Ethereal?
I don't actually.
I don't know.
Oh, ethereal. I
Is
think
that
that's
how you
it.
say it?
I think that's it. Yeah, that sounds more
That's how I always
sophisticated.
say it in my head. So sorry if that's wrong.
I say ethereal. I pronounce it out the way it's spelled. Anyways, it's like that look about her. She's like,
yeah. Well, and like,
and I'm sure she knows.
And not only that, but they glamored the fairies, but like there were no footprints in the snow, there was no carriage, no horse, because they fucking flew there.
Yeah, they winnowed in.
So like the housekeeper or whatever is like,
the fuck?
I'm not letting you in. Like, fuck that.
Someone with some brains.
Right. Although, if Feyre really wanted in, she would get in. So, like, but like,
right. Well, and then Elaine's like, my sister.
Right. And I said, well, that's probably as good as could be expected. Like, I don't think they could have expected it to go better than that.
Right. Yeah, it was funny.
But Nesta doesn't miss a fucking beat. Like, she just.
She's like, oh, God, this bitch again.
Where did
I thought I got her. I got rid of her. I put on 245. I so enjoy Nesta and Elaine. I'm just so glad that they're back. Sometimes they're like the scenes that they're in are kind of boring.
Yeah.
Because there's not much going on. It's usually like a carryover scene, but like there's certain scenes where it's just like, yes, perfect. I didn't write this down, but I just read it and it's kind of frustrating me. So like there's a section, it's on page 245 where she's just like, I felt like they had let in a wolf, a wraith. What are you talking about? Like, you got 3 fucking wolves behind you. Like, you got terrifying people behind you and you sit here and think you're the wolf. Like, yeah, I get it. You like went up against Amarantha as a human. I don't care that you are a fae right now.
But I think
do not sit there and say you're a wolf.
Some of that goes back to her like implicit bias that she hasn't gotten over yet from being a human and thinking that fairies are the worst.
Oh, true. Okay.
Now she is a fairy, so she's like
melodramatic.
Yes.
God.
Also, Nesta is such a badass bitch. Like her high fae sister, who is like,
she's like, I don't give no fuck.
She asks her if we can use her house basically as a headquarters, and Nesta's like, no. No.
Get the fuck out of here. What are you talking about?
No. I don't want them in my house or near my sister. No. No.
Whatever the reason, Feyre, we were happy to see you alive, but
no. Oh my God.
Well, here's the thing. I was like, man, such drama, Feyre, because she's like, I was dead. I said roughly, I was dead, and then I was born, remade. Elaine set her shivering teacup onto the low-lying table between us, amber liquid, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, as she did that, though, she, like, threw back her hood. And I was like,
I could see her ears and...
Like, bitch, it's like they didn't know already. Right. Like, you look different.
Right.
The ears are, like, a sure sign, yes. However, you look
fucking different.
You don't look human. Yeah. Thinner, which, damn, I want to be a fae if I can be, like...
Nah.
If I could go be a rocket, because I'll gain some weight.
This booty back here, get me all the people. The only one that I need to keep around is my wife, but she said she would leave me if I got rid of the booty. So, hey, babe.
Just get butt implants, you'll be fine.
No. Okay, so there was this video. This is a whole tangent right here. There's this video, and it was Iggy and Beyonce.
I saw this. I saw this.
And it was like Iggy was trying to like shake her butt, and like, it didn't shake because it's fake. And then Beyonce started shaking her butt, and it was just like, hey, babe. And I was just like, yes.
Why are you so ghetto right now?
This is just, I'm tired. Listen, this is how I am all the time.
Not when you're tired.
I'm always tired. Listen, nope, I'm not going to talk about that on the podcast. Let's go get back to the book. I was about to go somewhere. I'm not going to go there
yet. So anyways, yeah, such drama, Feyre. Come on.
I'm so excited to have Ness back. Also, Elaine is getting married.
Yeah, 5 months to a High Lord, jeez,
And
to
then
a Lord's son.
on page 248, where are you at?
I was on 247. I got something on 248 though.
I love Elaine. She finally, she's talking Nesta into letting them use the house to meet the queens, and
she's definitely the peacekeeper.
Yeah, she put a hand on Nesta's knee, the purple of my sister's gown, nearly swallowing up the ivory hand. Feyre gave and gave for years. Let us now help her, help others. So Elaine is like finally recognizing all that Feyre did for them.
Yeah, I said that too. I was like, yeah, Elaine, you tell Nesta what's up. Feyre did give and give. Elaine is so sweet, and unfortunately, she is more suited for Tamlin. She's the type of person that would.
Gross.
Like, yeah, she would be the type of like, okay, yeah, I'll go sit on the garden. I'll go fucking deal with your mom's roses. Like, fuck it, I'll do that. Let's do that. Yeah, I can see that from Elaine. I think it's funny though because like she's definitely the diffuser. I think in their entire life she's always been the diffuser, and she wasn't the baby. She's definitely the middle, so I can see why. But it's like, Nesta tells Feyre that it's like she's marrying a Lord's son, and his father has devoted his life to hunting down your kind when they cross the wall. And she's like, oh, your kind, okay. And then she's like, so there will be no meeting here. There will be no Fae in this house. And Feyre goes, do you include me in that declaration? It's like, yeah, I mean, you got a point, though. Your kind. I mean, Feyre's still adjusting to the your kind talk, and you just immediately, right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, oh, Elaine, you care. So yeah.
I just love Feyre and Nesta because I feel like they're both protectors and they're both like queen bitches in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
And like the way that they talk to each other, they don't really like each other, but like they respect each other.
Yeah.
So like when they talk like on page 249, the whole conversation.
Oh yeah, because they're trying to talk about Elaine, the future husband, and it's like,
yeah,
is she good? Is she this?
Yeah. And they both like have that common goal of like protecting Elaine.
Yeah, and she's like, Grayson, the son is kind enough, but I hate her father. But I hate his father.
Yeah.
And then basically like, he'll die soon enough.
Like, he's old.
He'll die soon. Fuck it, whatever.
Okay.
You'll get some money from us, but you know what? You'll be dead and gone.
Oh my gosh. And then that's all I had for chapter 23.
Oh, well, and then there's this other thing. Nessa's like, your High Lord, you went through all of that, and it still did not end well. And she's like, well, that Lord built a wall to keep the Fae out. My High Lord wanted to keep me caged in. And it's like, oh. Mm-hmm. And then Nessa's like, well, why? He let you come back all those months ago. And then Feyre is finally like admitting like, well, to save me or protect me. And I think what happened to us under the mountain broke him. The drive to protect at all costs, even my own well-being. I think he wanted to stifle it, but he couldn't let go of it. And so, yeah. And then now she's like, instead of saying like, well, man, that sucks. Like, I'm really sorry for you. She's like, and now you're at a new court. Like, or
I just love to like, I one thing that I didn't really think about because I'm so glad that Tamlin's not fucking here anymore. I love how many chapters we've gone by and like, we don't know anything about Tamlin.
Yeah. We don't give a fuck.
we don't fucking care. And I love it.
He's dead and gone.
He's just, fuck him.
Don't worry. He'll come back.
Ugh.
He'll come back in the worst fucking way possible. You thought you hated him before? Oh, it gets to a whole new level. Oh God. It's coming too. It's coming soon. All right. I just got real amped up. Sorry.
Ugh.
Chapter 24.
Chapter 24.
I had a lot to say about this chapter. I think it's just like little nitpick stuff. Not nitpick.
I had a page of notes. So
I had a page and a half.
Right on that first page, Reese walks in so one of the things that Elaine finally said to get Nesta to agree to let them have the meetings there was that all the servants had to be sent away because she doesn't want anybody spilling the beans that they're like fairies coming to their house. So all the servants have been sent away, and now Reese, Cassian, and Azrael are coming in, and Reese's brows lifted. You'd think they'd been told a plague had befallen the house. I literally had to stop reading and laugh out loud. I was like,
yeah, you're right. They ran for the fucking hills.
Oh my God. It was just funny. I don't know why it was so funny, but. And then, sorry, did you have anything on page 250?
I technically had it's written down for 250, but it's like for anticipation of what's going to happen.
Okay.
I basically put Cassian and Nesta are quite the pair, and now that they are under one roof, the house will not be standing after they are through. Because Cassian can't keep his fucking smart mouth closed, and the Nesta
never lets it challenge
holds it back.
stand.
Yeah.
Oh,
but it's such a good chapter because of that.
And then on 251, so Nesta says something about the threat of Prithian, and Cassian's like, Prithian, not Hybern, because Nesta, like, I feel like the humans don't know the difference. Like,
Feylands.
the Feylands are the Feylands. The Feylands are Prithian. They don't know about Hybern because it's across the sea. It's not really been a threat to them.
But Dad's over there doing something.
Right. But it's not
I'm so ready for Dad to have a redemption.
to do with Prithian. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting that Cassian was like, what? Like, they don't realize that the how little the humans know.
Yeah. So I have some for page 252. So she's over here talking about how she's like Faye and that how she would be barely into her immortal existence after like her sisters are dead and gone. And she's like, I had removed my cloak now that the servants were gone, and it was just me, not the Illyrians, that my sisters first looked at the Fae clothes, the crown, and the jewelry. And a stranger, this part of me was now a stranger to them. And it's like, why the crown and jewelry? Why the crown? Like, you're not a high lord's wife. Like, you're not high lady. Like, why a crown?
Yeah.
You're not, like, going back to, you're not even regal in the human lands. Like, why the crown? Why?
I don't know.
Jewelry I can understand. Maybe not like the specific kind of jewelry she was wearing. It wasn't only just like earrings, or was
I
she
think
like
that
wearing...
she had bracelets on too.
Yeah, see.
The
dingly earrings I feel like were a little too much.
I also thought it was funny that she said Elaine, to her credit, did not faint. Not that part. That part wasn't funny. This part's the funny part. And Nesta, to hers, did not hiss at them. Favorite. And I feel like I think it makes me laugh so much because I could see me doing that. Like when somebody I don't like walks in, I'm like I just
cat, like a cat. Listen, if I could describe Nesta as anything, it would definitely be a fucking lion.
Right?
She is terrifying in
my
her
God.
own sense. Anyways, so I have some for page 255.
I have 254. What if Feyre said something? Oh. So she's eating their food and their food tastes like ash because the food in Prithian is so much better. And Nesta's like, you don't like our food? You're too good for us.
Is there something wrong with our food?
And Feyre puts her hand down on the table. I imagine her just like slamming her hand down on the table. And she goes, I can eat, drink, fuck, and fight just as well as I did before. Better even. And Cassian chokes on his water. I'm like,
well, because it's like, Cassian hasn't seen this side of her,
right.
But it's like Nesta pisses her off to where it's like
she provokes her into it, and I just died because Cassian is such a smart mouth, and
he's like, oh, and then Nesta lets out a low laugh.
Yeah.
And it's like she's getting pissed off. She can feel the power, and then like Reese is sending her like calming tugs, and it's like. Honestly, if I was her and I would be pissed off and Reese is sending me calming texts, I'd be like, fucking stop.
That's just like somebody saying, calm down.
Yeah. Do not tell me to calm down. I will be pissed off.
I was calm.
Unless, instead of it was like the calm down, unless it was like a legitimate, like, let me send you these feelings, like good vibes your way kind of shit. But,
and then he like, tries to smooth things over and be so polite. Like, if you ever come to Prithian, you'll discover why your food tastes so different. And then, of course, Nesta's a bitch about it.
I have little interest in never setting foot in your land, so I'll have to take your word on it. And then Elaine's trying to be the peacekeeper again. Nesta, please. Cassian, though, oh my God, this is, Um, I would love to be a fly on the wall, and if anything, to be a guest at that table, because
Right.
like their relationship is hilarious. So Cassian's brows raised, little amusement to be found. Someone who let their younger sister risk her life every day in the woods while she did nothing. Someone who let a 14-year-old child go out into the forest so close to the wall. My face began heating, and I opened my mouth to say what I didn't know. Your sister died to save my people. She's willing to do so again to protect you for more. So don't expect me to sit here with my mouth shut while you sneer at her for the choices she did not get to make and insult my people in the process. Nesta didn't bat an eyelash as she studied the handsome features, the muscled torso, then turned to me, dismissing him entirely. I would do that shit.
Yes.
You get her, Cassian, but you know what? Nesta knows
I
where to
literally
strike.
wrote snap, snap, like with little like asterisks, and said, yes, Cassian, tell her, because I was like, yes.
But also, yes, Nesta, like, stand your ground, be the bitch you
that's
are.
it. She's like, not impressed.
And it's like Cassian's face went almost feral. A wolf had been circling a doe only to find a mountain cat wearing its hide instead.
And that's so accurate.
Right? And it's like, Elaine's like, but listen, it's very hard to accept it.
And she's like trying to be the peacemaker and making small talk. Like,
oh yeah, and then but then at least Elaine sits there and is like, as for Feyre's honey during those years, it was not Nesta's neglect alone that it was to blame. We were scared and had received no training, and everything had been taken, and we failed her. Both of us did. And then Feyre's just like, can we just like start over? And then you're kind of like going through it, and like they're talking, and
this is where she's making the small talk, like asking them about, isn't it frightening to fly so
Right.
high? And
yeah, and then she's like, you look like High Fae, but you're not. Only the High Fae who look like them, who pointed to Rhys and her, are High Fae. Everyone else has different other differences. Mark you as what they like to call you, lesser fairies. And then Nesta surveyed Feyre and goes, but you were not High Fae, not to begin, so what do they call you? A bitch. Apparently Feyre is whoever she chooses to be.
that's what Rhys says. Oh my gosh.
It's like, hold on, first of all, Rhys, sit down, let her answer.
Yeah. But I do like that he's protective of her too. Like,
Yeah.
and not in the same way as Tamlin.
Tamlin
He
was
lets
just-
her be herself, but is also like got her back.
Right, like supportive.
Yeah.
But stands up for her, yeah. And then Nessa's like, I assume you'll want to stay the night.
And then Elaine's like so excited for them to stay. Like, she's like,
Sleepover!
We have bedrooms made up, and like she's
Then-
like all excited about it.
Right? And then Rhys is like, we'll need two next to each other with two beds each. And then Feyre's like, excuse me the fuck out of me. What?
Right? Like, also, don't be a dick. Like,
I know. And Rhys is like, magic is different across the wall, so our shields or senses might not work right. I'm taking no chances, especially in a house with a woman betrothed to a man who gave her an iron engagement ring. And Elaine's like, oh, we have two bedrooms, but they're not together. Sorry.
but they end up working it out, and Rhys like creates a bed out of thin air.
But then, hold on. Right after that, though, Feyre goes, we'll move things around. It's fine. This one, pointing to Rhys, is only cranky because he's old and it's past his bedtime. I feel like I say that to Will all the time. And it's like, go to bed. Cranky. I'm the
feel
one
like
wanting-
that's me. I'm the cranky one that needs to go to bed.
I'm the one who's like, all right, let's stay up. Let's party. Let's play games till 4:00 in the morning. And he's just like, God, I'm fucking tired. I'm tired, babe. Fine. Go to bed, you big baby.
Oh my God.
But anyways, yeah, so they got together. So they went to their room, and then Feyre decides to like get pissed off at Rhys because he's like, what was it? Nesta is a delight, by the way. Yeah, she's her own creature.
I wrote that down because I thought it was hilarious.
It's been a few centuries since someone got under Cassian's skin that easily. Too bad they're both inclined to kill each other. And Elaine should not be marrying that lord's son, not for about a dozen reasons, the least of which being the fact that you won't be invited to the wedding, though maybe that's a good thing. And then she's like, oh, that's not funny. And he's like, at least you won't have to send a gift either. I doubt her father-in-law would deign to accept it. And then she's like, you have a lot of nerve mocking my sisters when your own friends have equally as much melodrama. And then he starts like, then she starts saying, well, have you not noticed how Azriel looks at Mor, or how sometimes she watches him and defends him, and how both of them do such a good job letting Cassian be a buffer between them most of the time? It's like, yeah, they got 500 years together. I'm sure they know.
Yeah.
And there's probably a good reason why no one's fucking talking about it. So shut the hell up, Feyre.
Which is basically what Rhys says.
Yeah.
And then at the very bottom, I literally wrote this. I wrote the bottom of the page, same girl. She says, I don't know, everything, or he asks her, is it miserable, your life, I mean?
Yeah, because she's like, my miserable life.
I don't know, everything's happening so quickly that I don't know what to feel. It was more honest than I'd been in a while. And like, I feel that on a very intense level right now. Like, so much is going on. Like, there's so much to do at work. There's so much happening. Mainly at work, that I'm just like, I don't even know if I want to do this anymore. Like,
right. Well, and it's like that song that's going around TikTok right now. It's like, I'm not happy, but I'm not sad, or like,
yeah,
like something. But I can't. I can hear it, but I can't say it. I don't know. But yeah, so I get that. I mean, I really do. And honestly, Feyre is kind of a busybody. I mean, like, if you're being a gossip, you're saying it, whether or not you're saying it to somebody or like spreading the gossip. You are being a busybody gossip. Anyways, so they're getting ready for bed. After they write the letter past midnight, they're getting ready for bed, and they're talking about, she's like, oh shit, like I don't have anything to change into. And so he like snaps in some lingerie. I didn't know which one I wanted you to wear, so I gave you a few to choose from. Pig. Then she grabs it and walks in to the bathroom and changes. And this is what I find really, really sweet. I think Rhys is really a gentleman, even to someone as heinous as Amarantha, and at least like he was finally thanked for what he did. But it's like she comes back in and the room is warm, that like the fire's on, the lights are off, and she gets into bed and she knows that it was warmed by him, and he's just like, thanks for warming the bed. And he's like, Amarantha never once thanked me for that. It's like, well, she's a bitch. So,
right. Like, fuck that.
Like, thank you so much for like continually doing that, though. Like, not giving up because one person was like a whore and like you
not appreciative.
Yeah.
At the bottom of that page where I feel like I literally drew a heart and wrote Rhys, because like at the bottom of that page he talks about like how he wasn't sure if he could. I'm falling in love with Rhys, man.
I told
you. Because like he's talking about how he wasn't sure if he could make it through the dinner, because even though her sisters mean well, or at least one of them does, he hadn't realized it would hit him that strongly how young she was,
right?
And how they didn't protect her.
Well, it's crazy because like he has a lifetime to think him on this, and like 500 years, like whatever, like that's young in their age. And then he's just like, God, she was 14,
right? And like she was like, I kind of agree, but also if that hadn't happened, then I wouldn't know you. None of this would happen. You'd still be under the mountain, like,
right? Perhaps enslaved, and
yeah,
I probably would have been wiped out if Amarantha decided to do all of that. Also, there's like a part of it down here, like right after he's like, it will be a long while yet before I can look at your sisters without wanting to roar at them. Listen, the scene emo phase of life that I lived through, roaring, I immediately just think rawr. With like your like XDDDD emoji. Like I will probably never be able to get past it. I was never that person to do that. I hope not. I can't. It might have been so traumatizing. I forgot about it. Sometimes when I go through my Facebook and I see like
old posts, my gosh,
and I sit there and like, why was I the way that I was? And it's like, boy, you're everything.
I was so attention seeking.
Right.
Mine was like, he's wondering whether it's even worth it, and like just super emo, and like
I know. Every day when it says look at your memories, I'm like, oh God.
Do I want to?
Like I want to know what I said, but I also don't want to know what I did.
And generally, if it's not more than 9 years ago, I don't want to look at them. I don't want to know.
11 years, and I'm like,
probably not.
Oh, terrifying. Anyways, whatever. I can't. I love fantasy books, but if the author uses roar, I will never, ever if I ever become a famous actress and someone's got to say that to me, you're gonna have to give me a shot or something.
So you don't laugh.
Yeah, because I'll be like, Miss Fry, this is supposed to be a serious scene. Can we change rar or roar?
Can we change the line?
I wanted to yell at them, like, can you just do that? Like, please, dear God, please.
Rar.
I won't. Anyways.
Oh my gosh, we're over an hour now. We should probably.
I got one last thing.
I have two last things.
Oh yeah, actually I do too. I really like how they're betting on Nesta and Cassian.
And they both bet on Nesta.
Like, no, it's fucking Nesta. Like,
Over
Nesta
Cassian.
will rip him apart. And she's human, and I love that. She's human, and they're like,
yeah,
nope,
she'll win.
It doesn't matter if he's a fairy or not.
And I love that he was surprised that she didn't celebrate her birthday. Like, it was almost like he was disappointed that he didn't know it was her birthday, and then they didn't
like
do
really
anything
sweet
for her birthday, which was sweet.
I also put Feyre has mommy and daddy issues. I mean, same, but I mean, who doesn't anymore? I used to say I have daddy issues, but then I started thinking, like, since my mom passed and I started like going through like working through those emotions and all that, I was sitting there like, no, I got some mommy issues too.
Yeah.
Like, but who doesn't anymore? If
Honestly,
you don't,
like, nobody's parents are perfect, so everybody has some issues on some level.
It depends. The trauma level depends
on how the it was, but like, not saying that anyone's trauma is not valid.
I had a decent childhood, and I still have trauma from my childhood.
Same.
So like, I got to go to Disney every single year. Like, that's privileged right there.
I did not get to go to Disney every year. But
okay, listen, we're in a lot of fucking debt though because of those trips. So
well,
thank you, Mother, for your inability to control your craving for Disney. But all of that aside, yes, anyone can have whatever. Anyways,
all right.
Thanks for listening, and let us know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let us know what your guesses are.
You'll probably get them, but that's okay. They're pretty simple.
I don't know. That first one's kind of hard.
No, it's not. That's good. That's good.
I wouldn't have thought of that one. Anyway.
All right.
Okay. Bye.